Right then, heading into 2023, I thought it'd be worthwhile having a look back over everything that's happened in 2022 for Manchester United. And what a year it has been, an eventful year to say the least. But I want to start all the way back in January. Let me know if there's anything that I've missed here. I think I've got it all. But we're going to go down through each month and talk about what happened. So we started with Ralf Rangnick. Do you remember him?
Can this Manchester United side go on a run? If you can win a first couple of games, the trust will be there from the squad to the manager and the manager to the squad. When there's trust, magic things can start to happen.
He was manager all the way back in January of 2022. And then we failed to sign anyone. So it didn't start great at all. We had Richard Arnold taking over from Ed Woodward as the CEO of the football club in February. In what, at least for now, has been a relatively positive sort of transition for United. We saw a new manager appointed, perhaps a different approach than one Ed would have taken. We saw a load of new players come in. We actually saw a free transfer come in that's actually been good. That was a definite diversion from what we saw under Ed Woodward. It's the next group of transfers where we'll find out exactly what Mr. Arnold and his team are all about. But I hope we've learnt a lot from what we saw under Woodward because it was not good. We crashed out the FA Cup against Middlesbrough in the fourth round on penalties, and we had a couple of bore draws, a 1-1 away with Burnley and a 1-1 at home to Southampton. But there were some positive performances. We had wins against Brighton at home and a 4-2 victory, which was a cracking game at Ellen Road against Leeds United. Alanga scores with his first touch against Atletico Madrid to make it 1-1 going into the second leg at Old Trafford and set it up real nice in the Champions League. In March, despite a Sancho goal, United get hammered 4-1 at the Etihad in a game that was definitely to forget.
These players have, as Roy Keane said years ago, these players have thrown multiple managers under the bus and they will continue to throw managers under the bus. Why are we expecting miracles just because there's a new manager in charge? And this is the whole point I've always had about changing managers.
It was the game where Cristiano Ronaldo decided he needs to be in a different country for it. And then a Ronaldo hat-trick meant that we beat Spurs 3-2 at Old Trafford. And then the season was over. Basically, the only hope we had left being the Champions League. And we lose 1-0 to Atletico at Old Trafford, going out in the round of 16 in a very whimperish performance. Poor performance. April, there was a little bit of positivity as Ten Hag was announced, and just when things couldn't look like they couldn't get any worse, we were given some very, very positive news. In May, the rumours started to circulate that Jim Ratcliffe wanted to buy United, and that came after an interview with the BBC where he stated he wanted to buy Chelsea. And after being asked about United, he told us Manchester United is not for sale. We started the month with a 4-0 hammering away to Brighton. Garnacho scored twice to bring the FA Youth Cup back to Old Trafford. The first time United had been successful in that competition since 2011. Gerard Romero was tweeting that there was a 95... Do you remember this? Here was my reaction.
First off, is this reliable, right? Everyone's going to be asking now, is this reliable? Is this fake news, right? Gerard Romero, tier 1. For Barcelona, ultra tier 1. This is good news. Barcelona believe that if Frankie de Jong continues at the club for another season and doesn't explode, they risk losing money in him. Which is not the best of circumstances to be trying to sign a player, but it's one of those. And he says there's a 95% chance that Frankie de Jong joins Manchester United. They need to sell due to financial reasons.
What a saga that turned out to be. Oh my God. And even when it was over, it didn't actually feel like it was over. And I would say right now it feels like it's over because United have got a pretty settled midfield, but wow. What a moment in time that was. Very clever of him to say 95%, by the way, too, because it didn't happen. And even though I think there was a lot of people who wanted it to happen, it never actually felt like he wanted it to happen, and he's a quite important figure in this, isn't it? Oh my God, 95% De Jong. Where did that go? We ended the season in poignant fashion with a 1-0 away loss at Crystal Palace. Good riddance to that season. One of the worst on memory. And then in June, Paul Pogba finally left Manchester United. De Jong rumours continued and didn't slow down. Richard Arnold was secretly recorded talking to fans in a pub. And while he got a lot of derision for that, I actually think his stock rose with a lot of United fans for that. Now, some of the stuff he said was corporate speak. He's a corporate man. I'm sure that's just the nature of the beast. Could you have seen Ed Woodward having a pint in a pub with United fans and being real and honest with them? And even if they were secretly recording him, he was still open enough to have a genuine and real conversation. So, got a lot of my respect, Richard Arnold, for doing that. And obviously, the jury's out on him until we start to see major change within the football club. But I would say he's had a pretty solid start. And that certainly was one of the things that helped that solid start. In July, it was announced that we had agreed a deal with Ajax for the signing of Lisandro Martinez for a fee of 47 million and 8.5 in add-ons, which then prompted all and sundry in terms of the British media to declare that a 5'9", 5'10" centre-half was never going to cut it in the Premier League. Well done, lads. August rolls round and we signed Anthony, which was a little bit of a saga. Took a long time to get over the line. And this was Ajax and the Eredivisie's biggest transfer ever. We had a nightmare 4-0 loss away to Brentford where we got absolutely smoked. And it could have been worse. The gloom turned to euphoria as United beat Liverpool 2-1 at home thanks to Marcus Rashford and Jadon Sancho. We had the Michael Knighton circus roll into town, and we'll say enough on that for now. September rolls around with United ending Arsenal's unbeaten run, not for the first time. Unbeaten 3-1 at home. It was a debut goal from Anthony. It was a good game, actually. A great game to remember. Didn't expect Arsenal to still be sitting pretty come the end of the year, but it was a hell of a game. October saw a 6-3 battering at the hands of Manchester City with an Erling Haaland hat-trick, and that could have been a lot worse as well. I hope we've learned from that. That's something I'm looking forward to in a couple of weeks. We went on to beat Tottenham 2-0 in one of our best performances in the post-Sir Alex Ferguson era. Goals from Fred and Bruno give us the gold. And it looked like United has started to tick and play the Ten Hag way.
Honestly, hands down, one of the best United performances I've seen in absolutely years. I think that might be the first time Spurs have been nilled this season. They've been absolutely kicking the shit out of teams so far this season. Kane and Son both been doing bits, and they just got completely shut down. Honestly, Spurs look like a lower league team, like a Championship League One team.
November come around and there was the small matter of the World Cup in Qatar. United had 16 representatives at the World Cup.
But that, ladies and gentlemen, that's where the final's going to be. It's like a 15-minute walk from our apartment, so that I enjoy.
Right, the biggest basket you've ever seen.
Yeah. Gold.
Ronaldo decided to tell one of the most reprehensible men of all time all of his problems and how he's been unfairly treated, and now people have took the piss out of him and this, that and the other, seemingly forgetting that Piers Morgan was one of the people that took the piss out of him at some point. And then the Glazers announced the intention to sell the club. The sausage rolls were on order, if not in the oven. December, and Lisandro Martinez single-handedly won the World Cup for Manchester United, proving the genius that is Erik ten Hag. Jadon Sancho left Manchester United to go to a bit of a retreat in Holland where he was going to go and try and get his head right. And Manchester United feel in a different stratosphere to this time last year. I think there's a lot of positivity. Marcus Rashford seems to have regained his form. We have got a rock-solid partnership of two lads that was in the World Cup final. The Old Trafford fan base has fallen in love with Christian Eriksen and Casemiro. Bruno seems to be coming back out of the shell that I think Cristiano Ronaldo put him into. It ain't perfect, but I feel like it's going in the right direction, and should a new year and a new spring bring new owners, I think those hopes will be renewed again. And I think United fans can go into 2023 with hopeful hearts. The Glazers have been the worst thing to happen to this club in modern times. They've stopped us becoming competitive, and for me, worse than that even is the division amongst the fan base and the toxicity that they've allowed to fester within the fan base due to how they've managed the club. United used to feel like the good guys. Used to support our sponsors. I remember being 8-9-year-old and getting a ghetto blaster for my room. And there was literally two choices. There was a JVC one and a Sharp one. I have no idea if Sharp Electronics was even any good. But do you know who I bought? I bought the Sharp one. I'm a United fan. Can you imagine being so open and brazen, being like, oh yeah, I went with the probably inferior product because it's a Manchester United sponsor. People look at you funny. What, you supporting the Glazers? I long for that sort of infighting to go away. I long for the days when you can be proud of the sponsors emblazoned on our chests, on our arms, arses, wherever they want to put them. Because we're all in it together. We have an owners and a board and a fan base that is aligned in becoming the best in the world. And if I had a wish for next year, it'd be to have that back again. Glazers have been a 17-year stain on this football club. I don't want to see it get to that 18th anniversary. That was 2022. If 2023 brings along new owners alone, it's been an infinitely better year. Take it easy. See you in the next one.
Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.